Hey, amazing one. Welcome to the Healing Artist Show, or Healing with the Healing Artist Show. I'm so happy that you are joining me for another fabulous episode. And on today's show, we are talking about the strangest dream that helped me resolve years of confusion in my life. And this is actually going to be a visual illustration. So, one of the things that I love to do is I love to draw my dreams because they're so interesting. And tonight, I'm going to share with you one of the most strangest dreams I've ever had. And I'm going to actually paint that for you live right here on today's show. So, I can't wait for that. So, I am Sherita Sparrow, the healing artist, and we are all about healing on this show. I help creatives reclaim their creative power so that they can realize their dreams and start living a life that inspires their soul. So, I have a quick question for you, and I am just curious to know, have you ever had a dream that you just woke up from? It was a bad dream and you woke up from it. And from that dream, it kind of lingered on in your mind for the rest of the day, maybe for the rest of the week, or even for a couple of months, right? And so the problem about this is that we're wondering and we're curious about, well, what does this dream really mean? Why does it keep coming up for me? Why do I keep thinking about it? And that's something that happened to me with this strange dream that I had. It kept coming up, and I was just curious about what it meant. So, we're going to actually dive a little bit deeper into what dreams mean and what they're actually sharing with us that we probably are not really realizing. So, the thing about dreams is that it's actually been a real study. So, Carl Jung was a psychiatrist and also a psychoanalyst, and he studied dreams. And so his whole idea about dreams is that they really have a message for you. These vivid dreams, they come to you to share something that's happening in your waking life. They're there to give you answers for things that are happening in your life that maybe you're just trying to figure out, but you haven't had the time to sit down and think about it. Well, the answers come to you in your dreams. And Carl Jung is one of the psychiatrists who actually studied it. And he believes it's the psyche trying to communicate a message to your soul. Okay. And I think they're so cool because I'm not sure about you, but for me, when I have dreams, I can dream in color. Sometimes I've actually been able to smell. I can see lots of detail, and I can hear in my dreams. So if you have vivid dreams that really stand out to you, drop a comment in the chat and let me know. What are your thoughts? Have you had a bad dream before that kind of woke you up and lingered around for a couple of days or so? Or are you able to see in color in your dreams? Or are you able to hear or smell or see like really fine details in your dreams? I'm curious to find out. Drop a comment below and let me know. So the thing about vivid dreams, there's actually a study that says there's 5 reasons why we have vivid dreams. Okay. And the first one is sleep disruption. So if we're not really getting a lot of sleep, we're most likely going to have a vivid dream. Okay. Also, any type of medications we might be taking that could influence our dreams. Any kind of medical concerns, stress, anxiety, trauma, and also any type of substance abuse. All these can create some type of a vivid dream for you, right? And they most likely happen in our REM sleep. So that's the first 90 minutes where we actually start to fall into our deep sleep. So as we're taking a look deeper into Carl Jung, he really does say that the psyche is what is trying to give us information about our life, to give us answers. And this is one of his quotes. He says that dreams, they do not deceive, they do not lie, they do not distort or disguise. They are invariably seeking to express something that the ego does not know and does not understand. And so, really, dreams are basically the guiding light for our soul. Okay. And so tonight, I'm going to share with you this dream I had that basically was my guiding light. It shared some information to me that I absolutely, I guess I wasn't really paying much attention to until I had that dream. And it gave me some great insight about myself and how I respond within the world. Okay. And it gave me some answers and also kind of let me know what was happening in my life. So your dreams sometimes really come to you to either give you a peek of what's happening in your life at that moment and how you're feeling. Your dreams also can come to you to give you a little heads up about what's going to happen maybe later on in the future, right? So, pay attention to your dreams. If you don't, definitely start doing that now. Okay, you'll be surprised the messages that you will actually receive from them. So, let me actually paint you a picture. Okay, so I'm going to paint you a picture, and this time I'm really going to paint you a picture and share with you this strange dream that I had. Okay, I had this strange dream. So, this dream, it kind of was like I just showed up. I didn't walk into the scene. I just automatically showed up within the scene. Okay. And I ended up being on a beach. So this dream, it was a quiet day. There was kind of like nobody on the beach. It was just me. So it was kind of like me on my own personal island. Maybe one day I'll be able to buy an island. That would be nice. So I had my own personal island. There was no one else there on the beach but me. And it was quiet. All right. And the sky was a really nice, pretty, soft blue. So let me actually paint the sky. And it was a really nice, soft blue color. Look at that. That's pretty. I love it. So it's a soft blue color. And I really like how it's turning out already because it has these nice brush strokes. And you feel some movement in the sky already. So as I was walking along this beach, and the closer I got to the shore, the louder it got. And I was really starting to hear the waves of the ocean. Now, again, there was nobody on this beach but me. It was just me. But as I walked up closer to the ocean, I could hear the waves crashing. Okay, so here is the sky. Nice sky. I'm liking it. I love the movement that's going on here. And I'm going to start working on the water. So the thing about this water that was interesting and really strange, and actually it scared me. Okay, it really scared me. I was scared in this dream. So as I was walking closer to the ocean, I noticed that there was this huge wave. This wave was like really high, and it was so high it like towered over me. Okay, and it scared me so much because I had never seen a wave that high before. And it also felt very loud. It was a little bit aggressive. It was scary. Okay. And I really didn't know what to do. So I started walking closer to this wave that was getting bigger and bigger as I got closer. And each time I continued to get scared. Okay. So I was looking at it. I was unsure about it, but I knew for sure that I was scared. So I started to run. And as I was running, the wave got bigger and it was louder and it was even more scarier, right? So I happened to see a log over a little bit further down the shore. It was a log, it was just there in the sand. And so I started to actually walk over to it. So actually, let me start with my sand. And if you're ever curious about how to make sand, all you need is just a little bit of some white, some orange, and a tad bit of green. And you're going to get a really nice taupe color or a sand color. So let me get out my white and my orange and my green. I'm going to mix that into my palette. And a little bit of my green. Got a nice taupe color. And I'm just going to add in the sand right here at the bottom. And have it go all the way across here. All right. That's a nice color. A nice sand color. Loving it, love it. So I'm just going to blend that in. So as I'm walking along the shore, and well, first I was actually running. And then I came up to this log. And it was just sitting there. And so I decided to walk over to the log and just sit down. All right, so there goes my sand. And I'm going to create this log. So this log, it was conveniently there. It was as if it was meant for me to walk over to it and sit down. It was like, this is just for you, Sherita. So I walked over to the log. And it was right about over here, away from this huge wave that was actually scaring me a lot. So I'm going to draw the log here. And it wasn't a perfect one, you know. All right. So here's this little log and here's this huge wave, okay? And as I sat down on the log, I noticed that the ocean began to settle, right? So I noticed the ocean began to settle for me as soon as I sat down on the log. It wasn't as, wavy, and there wasn't as much movement going on. It was just a calm water right here, right by the log. But this wave was so huge and scary. Okay. I'm liking it. This is exactly how it looked too. It was a really scary moment. So after I sat there for a little while on the log, I decided to get up. And when I got up and I started to run, the waves got bigger. But then when I slowed down, the waves mellowed out. And so it was kind of interesting that the waves moved with how I was moving. When I was scared and I was running, the waves were huge. They were big. They were scary. But when I was calm and I was relaxed and I was sitting on this log, the waves were calm. They were peaceful and they were just flowing, right? So when I had this dream and I kept thinking about it and wondering, what does it mean, right? I happened to be talking to one of my mentors and I shared with her this dream I had. And I shared with her that, I walked up onto the beach. There was nobody else there but me. And there's this huge wave that scared me and it just was all over, right? But then I told her I sat down on a log and then the waves mellowed out. And so she I could tell she was kind of like smirking a little bit over the phone. And she said, that's interesting because water or the ocean represents your emotions, right? Or how you're feeling. And she said, it seems as if when you're scared, your emotions are high, just like this wave was, right? But when you're calm and you're being still within that storm, then your emotions can help everything to mellow out. And I was like, wow. Wow. It was an answer to something that I had always been curious about and confused about. Because throughout life, I've always wanted to be the person to help others, right? And sometimes I would overhelp or I would help when maybe I wasn't asked for help, right? And that was a way of, in some ways, trying to find some sense of control, right? And so I realized that whenever I was trying to control something, it's because I was scared, right? Or I felt overwhelmed in some way in my life. And so this wave represents me being afraid and overwhelmed in life. And as I was walking to this wave, it kept getting bigger and bigger and louder, right? And more aggressive. And that was me trying to control the wave when really it wasn't meant for me to control. It was meant for me to find that log, to sit down, to rest within the storm and allow it to mellow out, right? And allow everything around me to work itself out. Okay. So that was what I discovered from my dream. And I learned that, my emotions are so powerful, right? Just like your emotions are powerful. And so the thing about it is that when you can weather a storm in life, whatever storm that's going on in your life, when you can weather it, when you can sit down within that storm and rest in it and just allow it to happen, everything will work out in your favor. Those big waves that are happening in your life will begin to subside and those insecurities would turn into self-confidence, right? So when I was thinking about this dream brought up so many different aha moments for me. One, discovering that this wave represented my emotions of when I'm like afraid or overwhelmed, or how the wave can mellow out when I'm relaxed and calm and just embracing the moment, right? But it also brought me back to when I was a child. And one thing I learned that I'll always remember and I'll never forget is what my grandma would always make me and my brother do. So shout out to my brother. Hey. Is whenever it stormed, she would always tell us to be still, right? And I don't know about, not sure about you, but I know for me, I love summer rains, right? So if you love a summer rain, drop a comment below, okay? And what I mean by a summer rain is when it's a nice day and then all of a sudden it starts to rain and it starts to thunder, but the sun is still out, right? So what my grandma would do is she would have us lay out a blanket in the living room and she would tell us to lay down, to be still and be quiet, right? And she would open up the windows and she will open up the door and you can feel the cool breeze coming into the room and you can smell the rain. I love the smell of rain. And it felt so peaceful and you can hear the roar of the thunder. And so I felt like part of the reason why she had us do that is because she wanted some time for herself to just have some peace without me and my brother running around the house. But I also think she was trying to teach us to not be afraid of the storm, right? And in some ways, she was teaching us how to rest in the storm, to sit down like that log and be still, right? To hear the roar of the thunder, to smell the rain, to feel the breeze. And so it was so interesting that she would teach us that. Another thing she would say to us is she would say, be still, be quiet, because the Lord is talking, right? And he has a message. And so we always held on to that whenever it thunders, it means the Lord is talking. And so whenever you're going through a storm, sit down on a log, be still, and let everything work itself out. Let God work out that storm for you. Don't try to control it like I was trying to control the storm. Sit down, be still, feel the breeze, smell the rain, hear the rumble of the thunder, and rest in the storm. So that's one of the things that I learned with this painting. And this painting gave me so many different breakthroughs. And so when you start really tapping into your dreams, you're going to really start to unlock those hidden truths, those things about yourself that maybe you did not even realize you even possessed, right? And that's what happened for me when it came to this dream. So I'm excited that I actually had a chance to paint it out. I mean, I'm going to add more to it, but I just kind of wanted to give you a gist of what it looked like. I think I'm going to add a few little more pieces of the ocean here. Create some texture up here at the top of the waves. Because these were some serious waves, okay? And they were scary. All right. And let me see. I'm going to add a few more right here. Just a few of the waves. It mellows out really nice. I think I'm going to add like a sun. But But yes, drop a comment if you love those summer rains, because I know I love them. And whenever there's a summer rain, I do exactly what my grandma used to teach us, to open the windows, to sit down, be still, and just enjoy the moment. You feel so peaceful, you feel so relaxed. Just gonna put my little sun here. There we go. Nice. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, you can't have a sky without the little birdies. You gotta have some little birdies. Because after the storm, the birds come out and they fly free. So let me get out some of my dark blue. And I'm gonna just make a few little birdies. One here and one there. Flying through the sky. And let me get a little bit more white paint. So one of the things I would love for you to do is to really think about having a journal, right? So this is actually my one thing that I would love for you to remember first, okay? Remember this, that our soul knows the geography of our destiny, okay? So listen to that gut feeling and also pay attention to those dreams, because they really do have a message for you, okay? And then the other thing is my life hack, okay? My life hack for you is that I would love for you to first find yourself a journal, okay? Get yourself a journal. I have a journal. It's my special dream book. I write all my dreams in there. And I've made a couple of paintings of different dreams because they're so mysterious and interesting. I've had a dream that I was holding a pigeon in my hand. He just like flew right to me and just nestled right into the palm of my hand. I had a dream that I was petting a wounded lion, which I thought was really interesting. And he let me pet him. He wasn't afraid of me, and I wasn't afraid of him. I had a dream of this beautiful scene where it was just a field and it was a nice, bright, sunny day. And there were these little white birds that was just like walking around through the grass. And it was just so peaceful. And I felt so free in that dream. So dreams come to me a lot, and I started paying more attention to them and really trying to understand what they mean, because I knew there was a message in them. So get a journal. When you have a dream, a vivid dream that comes to you, try to jot down everything you can about that dream. If you could hear something, if you could smell something, if you could see something, write everything down, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to read it back to yourself, but read it in present tense as if it's actually happening right now, okay? The reason why you want to do that is because it's going to help you really understand what the dream is when you read it to yourself in present tense. And if you still are not really sure what it means, you can also really look at the different symbolisms, such as this water. Water represents emotions, right? So really try to find the key components within your dream and discover what they symbolize. What do they mean? Okay? And if you're still trying to figure it out, just connect with me. I'll help you, crack the code and figure out what your dream is really all about. Okay? Don't worry. So one of the things I also love for you to do is to make sure that you join my free Facebook group, Rise Up, Speak Up, and Create. All right. When you do this, you're going to instantly start stepping into your creative power as a creative person, okay? And you're going to actually start realizing your dreams, making them a reality, and start living a life that is aligned with your purpose, okay? So be sure to do that. Join my Facebook group. Reach out to me if you have a really interesting dream and you just absolutely have to know what it means and what the message is. Reach out to me. You can send me a DM, or you can email me, or you can just join my Facebook group. Let me know, and I'll be glad to help you figure out what it means. I had so much fun with you. I'm going to keep on painting because I want to add a little bit more to my sand. I think I might add a little starfish over here. So there's a couple other things I'm going to do to this painting. Let me add a little bit of waves to here. Okay, nice. I really love painting. Painting just really helps me to like relax and to just be in the space. So feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know if you had a strange dream, what that dream was about, if you can kind of figure out what it was, or what do you feel it meant for you, and any breakthroughs that you got with your dream. I would love to know. All right. So amazing one. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, to share some thoughts and chat with you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. So until I see you again, continue to create, connect, and inspire others. Bye, amazing one. Mwah.